national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Dr. Rajat Sethi, who's an economist and a commentator, Professor Monojit Mondal, political analyst. We also have with us Ashutosh Mishra, who is a senior journalist. Good evening to all of you. Thank you for joining us here on Times Now. Ashutosh Mishra, to you first. IMF says that India is a key engine as far as the global growth is concerned. IMF has also upgraded India's growth forecast for current year from 6.6% to not 6.7 or 6.8, but actually 7.3%. Yet we have Rahul Gandhi calling India a dead economy.
So the same IMF has graded India's GDP figure as C because it does not reflect the informal sector, which accounts for around 83 to 87% of the employment. And
so when you agreed with IMF on that point, why are you not agreeing with IMF on this point when IMF calls India a bright spot?
So when the GDP data based on which IMF is giving those projections is flawed, how can you trust the same data? If you see, even CMI pointed out how the foreign private investment in India is going down. We have seen in the stock markets especially in case of foreign private investment, it's lowest since 2010.
Okay.
The FIIs are exiting our stock market.
This is politics of convenience clearly, because when IMF calls India a bright spot, upgrades India's GDP forecast, then you don't want to believe IMF, but you want to believe IMF when it raises questions on the way GDP is calculated. But what will you say to Mr. D.K. Shivkumar then? He in Davos is saying India is rising. Rahul Gandhi here in India is saying India is a dead economy.
So I would go when Shivkumar talks there, he is representing India, and if he doesn't run you down publicly, if he had said otherwise, you would have said he is insulting India on the foreign stage.
But isn't he then insulting Rahul Gandhi? Radhika Kheda, isn't then he going against the High Command and insulting Rahul Gandhi? That is acceptable to Mr. Ashutosh Mishra. Radhika, can you hear me? Okay, I don't think she's able to hear me. Let me go across to Dr. Rajat Sethi. Dr. Rajat Sethi, how will you like to respond? Who should we believe really? You're an economist. Can you explain to our viewers? Because on one hand, we have the leader of the opposition, the Lok Sabha, saying economy is dead. A same leader who is actually from the Congress party, from the same party actually, says in Davos that India is rising.
See, you can't expect politicians to talk truth, because if they do that, they will lose elections. This is why they make these outlandish claims. What I infer here in truth, the nature of truth is that it is somewhere in the middle. The textile sector over the last 9 months has taken some hit, but the hit has been 0.26%. That is the degree with which the exports, our textile exports, have gone down, which is, of course, worrisome, but it is not something which is tantamount to saying that the textile sector is dead. Also keep in mind the bigger perspective that last quarter itself, our economy grew at a breakneck pace of 8.2% against all odds. Look at the kind of headwinds that we were facing. Not just us, but countries around the world are grappling with absolutely unprecedented geopolitical scenarios which they couldn't even imagine, they couldn't even factor in. And economy is not like a car that you can turn at every corner, right? You need to change your systems, identify new buyers, get into new supply chains, explore new markets. It takes time to adjust. And a lot of analysts are also expecting that in the near term you will see the EU orders and the US orders reach back to the levels that they were. Then this is just a temporary blip. So making these absolute outlandish statements which are far diverse from truth is just juvenile, and I think all politicians should stay away from these rhetorical statements and just go on. If you would have said that yes, textile is hit, there are some job losses which are happening, everybody would have believed it.
Absolutely.
But when you make hyperbole around it, nobody will believe it.